Okay, I'm going to be as brief as I can with this and try to explain some of these things. I actually had people ask me to put another video out, so I was like, I was venting because I didn't have a chance to vent. I don't get on Facebook or social media and just vent. So I wanted to put out a couple of videos to vent about the previous election and everything like that. That's over with. That's fine. Here's today's topic: war on coal, war on oil. You don't like the oil industry. You don't like the coal industry. I understand. Okay. I was brought up. I was brought up to be an environmentalist. Okay. I was involved in a little environmentalist program and club all through elementary school, and then I carried those into high school. And I understand. I don't throw litter out my truck window. I don't dump oil on the ground. You change your oil. I don't do that. I clean up after myself on my job sites. If there's ways to recycle, I call people up. Hey, I've got metal in my dumpster. Would you please come and get it? Scrap it. Everything that we can to do to try to do what's best for the environment. Now, am I perfect? No, I'm not. I'm ashamed to say that, sometimes I don't recycle water bottles like we should. There's things that I should probably do better that I don't. But I'm working towards that so that I can have something to pass down to my children and they can have something to pass down to their children. But you'll not see me, no matter how much that I agree with some of these environmental issues, you'll not see me sitting around and say, we need to stop all oil production. We need to shut down the Keystone Pipeline. It's evil. It's crazy. Or we need to shut down all the coal industry because it's evil. It's the worst thing ever. No. Some of you do not understand what oil, petroleum, fossil fuels are used for. And it shows with the way that you vote and with the way that you talk. Oil is not just refined to go into your vehicle for gas or diesel or jet plane fuel, okay? It has a whole host of different things that we use it for. It is used a lot in manufacturing, okay? Gas prices will go up, and you say, well, everybody should, some individuals, well, we gas prices should go up. That take more vehicles off the highway, and then it will reduce the emissions, and we could have cleaner air. Okay, you're not just talking about fuel though. Okay, that's only probably 50% of what petroleum is used for. Oil coming out of the ground is used for, and coal right now is used in powering up some of the power plants. Now, the last time we had this war on coal, a lot of the power plants adapted. Specifically here in Alabama, they got hydro plants that run coal and hydropower through the river. Have the river feeding water through there to turn the generators, and also have coal working with it too. All right. We went through this of let's figure out a way to make it a little bit better, but don't completely cut it off. Okay. We have geniuses that live in this country. Some of them I question, but we do. We have geniuses that live in this country. Let's look at figuring out how to make what we bring from the ground, and manufacture cleaner. That would be the most responsible thing, not turn around and taking a pen and shutting down 20, 30, 40,000 jobs right off the top of the bat. Okay, think about this. It took over 100 years of us using oil for us to get to the point to where we are now. Okay, vehicles, gas stations, refining plants, pipelines, oil wells and gas wells out in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of Atlanta, in the Atlantic, or over in the Pacific. Pipelines that we run. It took over 100 years for us to get to this point. You can't stop that in 4 years. And if you're trying to, you're going to crash. Listen to me. You're going to crash the economy, because we have, I wouldn't be scared to say, millions of jobs that are tied into the petroleum and oil industry. People who work at gas stations, the people who drive the trucks to put the fuel in the gas stations, the people who refine the oil at the refineries, the people who supply the parts for the refineries, the people who work at the refineries. Okay, there's a whole pyramid. The 30 and 40,000 at the top for Keystone, that trickles down like an iceberg, like a pyramid to the bottom, and you've got a huge base of people that all of a sudden you have decided are not worth anything. You've demoted them and demeaned them. And maybe you want to create a population that you can put on subsidized living so that you can more easily control them by saying, vote for me and I'll bump up your stimulus check. Oh, wait, that's already happened. So, but you can't turn around and kill those industries like that, because it will crash especially the local economies. Okay, West Virginia, Alabama. We've got a coal industry here that's been decimated. But here's the other part. Here's the hypocritical part. Okay, all right, everybody, listen to this. Keystone was going to make us a little bit more energy independent, okay, along with what we're doing with the clean fracking. Now, fracking has a bad name because it used to be bad, but we refined the technology and made it better, okay? We were going to be more energy efficient and independent this way. Now, we've turned around and made ourselves more energy codependent upon, guess what? Are y'all ready for this? Ukraine, who produces who has a lot of the oil and natural gas over there. And OPEC, with the oil producing countries in the Middle East, back when they used to have gas rations back in the 70s and 80s, is because of OPEC. We're falling back into where we're going to be dependent on other countries for our energy resources. And then you're going to have some of those. I know you're already going to say this, some of y'all. Well, no, because we're going to wind and solar. I'm sorry. Listen to me, okay? Everybody focus for a second. The wind and solar technology is not to the point to where it will power cities. We can barely get houses powered with it, okay? And stay charged and stay working, okay? It's good to offset so that you're not using so much fossil fuel. It's perfect for that. It is literally perfect for that. But if you think that you can run the city of New York off of solar panels, there's not enough space in the state of New York for the solar panels you would need to run that. Even if you had wind turbines set up everywhere, you're still not going to produce the amount of power that you would need to run that city off of. Now, I'm not bashing solar and wind. It is a great alternative. It is a great way to slowly wean ourselves off of the fossil fuels. Between that and more innovative technology to emission capturing, so that we're not putting carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide into the environment, and we can refine the fuel, the oil, in a better way to where we don't have leftovers and we're not putting byproducts into the environment or into the ocean. Perfect. I absolutely agree with every bit of that. And if this administration wants to do that, I wholeheartedly support those endeavors. But coming in because some whacked out left person thinks that we need to shut down the oil industry because oil evil, coal bad, that is the most ignorant statement that anybody possibly can make. And you're going to ruin the economy if that's the direction that you want to go. You're going to drive gas prices up, because gas is going to become a precious commodity, because truckers have to run. You saw that in the pandemic. Y'all remember when toilet paper wasn't there? You remember when stuff wasn't on the shelves at Walmart and Target and Sam's, and there was a shortness of everything because the truckers were at home, because they were quarantined, because we had to sit at home because of COVID? All right. When the fuel prices get up so high because we don't have electric trucks mass produced all over the world, all over the United States, okay? Most of our vehicles are still running, our transfer trucks are still running on diesel, okay? We're not set up to kill fuel yet. Killing the pipeline should not happen. You're killing your economy if you do it this way. Slowly bring it down. Have the pipeline run in like a faucet and slowly trickle it off until you get to where you're not using as much as you need to. Don't just cut it off. I can't. Okay, here's a picture for y'all. Not my picture, okay? Don't think about me. Think about somebody else. If you're sitting in the bathtub and all of a sudden you think, well, I cut the hot water on, the hot water ran, I cut it off, okay? You didn't slowly, if the bathtub's not full, the water, you're not doing anything. You're sitting in a half tub of water, okay? You got to have a whole tub in order to bathe yourself, okay? What you're doing is you're slowly cutting, you're cutting it off, and we're not ready for it yet. You're going to have to let it run and fill up. And then as we get ready to slowly let it drain down until we are ready to cut it off completely. You just can't cut it off completely because we're not going to make it. Now, I don't know who's on the president's economic team. I'll tell you this. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to say. All right, and then I'm going to let y'all go. I'll tell you this. I'm 40 years old, okay? This year I'll be 41, right? I've worked full-time since I was the age of 17. Full-time since I was the age of 17. I don't know what that makes, 20, 23, 24 years, somewhere around in there is how long I've worked full-time, right? Right now, according to the numbers that I see from the president and some of the people he's got on staff, I've worked longer in my 41 years than they have in their 45 years of being a public servant, okay? You can't tell me how to run an economy if you've never worked or you haven't worked in 45 years. You can't tell me that. You have no authority to sit there and tell me how to live my life, Mr. Climate Czar. If you're flying around in your private jet telling me how to live my life and how I'm using too much fuel, or you're going out sailing in your private yacht or running your motors and stuff like that. I drive a truck to Mobile, Alabama this first part of this year to do work, okay? I'm in a diesel truck because I got to be able to pull a lot of load and it gets me better gas mileage than the other vehicle. And I have multiple people that I put in the vehicle, all right? You don't have the right to tell me after you haven't worked in 40 years how I need to be working. I'm trying to explain the common man's goal, and what you want to do is say, you know what? Y'all know better than us. How? How do you know better than us? I didn't go to school and get a 4-year degree, but I know this. You can't cut off the oil industry right now and kill everything. Gas prices are already climbing. Literally, in November, I filled up my truck for $45. A big diesel truck, 30-gallon tank, $45. Today, $75. $30 increase in 2 months. And you think that this is going to work out for us in the end? Y'all got to start thinking in R's and D's and vote for people who make sense, okay? Not R's and D's, people who make sense. Because what this is happening now does not make sense.